Hi everyone, welcome to my senior capstone project, the Free and Well Holistic Wellness Center, designed by me, Erica Kodad. So a little background on my life starts when I was 6 and my parents got divorced. This divorce definitely wasn't the friendliest and definitely created a huge negative impact on my childhood, but it shaped me into the woman I am today, and that has a huge reason of why I was so motivated to do this project. So I grew up having to deal with court dates, mandated reporters, and court-ordered therapy, and the court-ordered therapy kind of grew into me going all the time consistently from childhood up until now. And I even found a therapist out in Flagstaff who helped me a lot with the transition from being at home to being to college and dealing with everything else. And so most of the recollection that I have from a therapy's office is the basic spatial layout of a couch, a table, a desk, and it's just a very small room with you and the therapist. And so that kind of was a big reason that I was able to do this project and get a huge idea out of it, because there's so many new ideas coming with mental health and natural healing, holistic healing, and all of that. So that kind of is a background on how I got started with this and how therapy and mental health and illnesses is such a big impact on my life and why I have such a personal experience with it. So mental health is actually a lot more common than people think it is. 20% of children are affected by some type of mental illness, whether it be one incident or throughout some part of their life. And then 25% of the global population will be affected by mental or neurological disorder at some point in their life. Me personally, I was going to therapy for my whole life, but I also dealing with a lot of traumatic experiences. I struggled with severe anxiety and depression for like 10 years, I would say. And it's a lot more common than people make it out to be. And people get really weird when we start talking about therapy. But even if people aren't struggling with anything like that, I would still highly suggest going to therapy, as it's just kind of a nice relief, and ability to talk about things to kind of a random stranger is a really positive way to deal with things. So since mental health and mental illness is this common, I was just starting to get really concerned of why the spatial layout and how therapist offices are designed. If mental illness is such a common problem that not only America, but the whole global population, it is extremely common with. And so I started to really research on why the design impact of mental health facilities, it hasn't really progressed through that area. So all the other educational fields, hospitals, all of that has kind of progressed throughout centuries and centuries with new updates, new advancements, technologies, all of that. But mental health has kind of stayed in the back, and they haven't really received as much updates and progressiveness into design as it should be. So that's kind of where the Free and Well Holistic Wellness Center comes in. It's located in Flagstaff, Arizona. The center is located just 13 minutes from downtown Flagstaff. It has a gorgeous view of the San Francisco peaks and is located on about 20 acres of Flagstaff land. And it's kind of out there, so it really limits cell phone service so that you get a full retreat experience while you're there, and you're not really distracted by cell phones and everything that's happening in the world. You're kind of at your own pace, and you really get to focus in on the experience. So shown here is the proposed first floor of the wellness center. I wanted to keep the whole space very minimalistic to achieve the most relaxing and calming space. I incorporated warm colors, wood tones. I also included natural elements to support ecotherapy as well as evidence-based design, which was a lot of the research on why I chose certain things throughout the space. I definitely wanted to update certain things and keep them more modern, boho, but very natural. So the whole space is surrounded by windows, so getting the most of the natural light as we could, as well as the views of outdoors are really important. Not that you really have to be outside for ecotherapy to be effective, but just being able to see it and being near it has really, really big effects on mood, mental health, and improvements and all of that. So here's some of my research. The evidence-based design, which I incorporated a lot into my floor plan, has a lot to do with health outcomes, more positive environments for patients and staff. It speeds up recovery processes and just including natural elements, which I really tried to do throughout the entire 13,000 square feet, as well as ecotherapy. There's a lot of plants that are flooded throughout the entire 2 levels, as well as giant 8-foot tall windows so you can see the outside and getting really as much natural environment as you can take in. So including that was extremely important in this space. Our natural environment has so many positive benefits on our mental health that it is extremely important to make the space as holistic and natural as possible, whether that being indoors or outdoors. So as you first walk into the space, the main doors are French doors that lead into the reception area, and then behind the receptionist desk is the main lobby atrium area that is one of the main focal points of the space. I just wanted this to be a huge area that clients, staff, and anyone else can come and enjoy and just relax while they're waiting or hanging out. I kind of used very simple wooden, modern, neutral colors for the furniture, and then I added a lot of different types of plants that I just wanted to include to get sort of the main feeling that you're going to feel throughout the whole experience that you're there. So the lobby is furnished with natural minimalist pieces using oak wood flooring and then putting plants throughout the entire space. I included lots of seating arrangements and kept the area open, simple, and relaxing. So on the left, more bottom part, you can see that's the waiting area / atrium with all the plants. And then the right upper is kind of that giant wood white piece is the receptionist desk, and then the oak is the French doors that lead into the space. So this area is a fun kind of easy deli cafe for patients and staff to get some fresh food during their stay. Right here is the tables and chairs are for the dining kind of area, and then whether a client is just staying for the day or for a whole week, this cafe is going to be fully staffed 24/7 for patients and staff to enjoy. They can get a well-cooked meal whenever they need it, and I kind of wanted to do a more modern boho theme in most of the spaces. So using subway tile, butcher block for the countertops, and then very simple glass tables with oak legs. Really combined the space and kind of made it feel like it was one instead of separating the two, because the purpose for the space was to kind of be one, so it's a dining area. And yeah. So right here is the communal living room. I intended for this to just be kind of like a big fun room where large groups can come together and hang out, watch TV, play games, and just kind of chill. The east wall also has 2 sets of French doors to keep the natural light and views easily accessible of nature and the outdoors and the mountains. So on the bottom right is going to be the extremely large residential kitchen that I included in the building. This space is going to be able to host cooking classes, nutrition classes, and is also available to all the patients and staff for any of their food needs, whether they want to cook something, keep food in the fridge, whatever they might need it for. I think including a kitchen in any space is really important. I included Star Appliances as this building is designed as an energy efficient building. Also, I wanted to include a large kitchen island that has bar stools so people can kind of hang out and eat there. And then open shelving is on the east and the south walls, so it doesn't get too cluttered and claustrophobic because it is kind of closed off. And then the north wall is actually not a wall, it is a sliding glass window treatment that is able to be opened up to the living room, and then you can also close it off when there's cooking classes so that the smells kind of don't flood throughout the whole space, so we can kind of keep them contained. So I think being able to keep these two spaces separated by this glass wall but still kind of really keeping it open was really important because I didn't really want to close off any spaces in the whole building. So here's kind of what the kitchen looks like from the south side. So on the right, we have the cabinets. There is an 8-foot tall window on the right as well. And then the sliding glass doors that I was talking about earlier, those are included there. So, and then also you can see a bit of the island that I included. So next is the owner's office. I continued with the kind of boho theme that I wanted to incorporate. So wicker, wood, earthly elements are used a lot in this space. And then here's a perspective of it. So the bookshelf is very minimal, but I did want to include something on that wall. So it's kind of just an accent piece as it is. And then the walls on the south side are as well the same walls that were in the kitchen that are glass walls that we can move. And so whenever the owner would want to open up so that they can kind of hang out in the whole space but still stay in their office, that's a possibility to just open them up. And then behind on the north wall, that's going to be an 8-foot by 12-foot window. So it's very spacious. It doesn't feel small at all. I definitely wanted to keep everything light and airy and not claustrophobic or secluded at all. So next is going to be the conference room. I intended for this room to be kind of where the staff can meet, prospective clients and the owners can meet, or if the clients want to meet with staff, or really any other presentation needs. I definitely wanted to have a space where they could kind of have office meetings or whatever they may need to have, so they could have their own space for this. And then same on the south side, they have the opening glass doors that can open up. So just keeping everything very simple and open, but still closing it off. Next is going to be the break room that I created on the first floor. It has 2 small love seats, a dining table with some chairs, and a industrial rustic coffee bar that's in the corner. The flooring is kind of a gray, white, ombre vinyl flooring that I just kind of wanted to keep it warm and simple. I intended for the space to be a place of peace and relaxation for staff when they're kind of getting overwhelmed and tired and burnt out, so they can have like their own little area. So this is where all the counseling rooms are. I intended for this room to be kind of warm and inviting, but still very minimalist, open, spacious. And they're surrounded by 8-foot tall windows, and then 2 of the rooms on the west side do have French doors in each of them. So I just wanted to keep it very simple and inviting, but yet very clean and open. So next is going to be a room that wasn't really needed, but I feel like in today's society, I really needed to just incorporate it and include it because they are becoming so big and so necessary. So this is the lactation room. With all the improvements that this building has, I definitely didn't feel like I could leave this out, and I wanted the moms who are going to be coming here for either the day or the weekend or a week or whatever to be able to have a quiet, peaceful place to sit while they needed to pump or do whatever they need to do in private. And since the space is kind of smaller and it's only meant for a few people, I did add a kind of crazy geometric floor tile so that the space wasn't too boring and simple, but still wanted to keep it kind of calm and inclusive. So lastly, on the first floor, I had to include a dramatic staircase because there are 2 levels. And so I wanted to incorporate something that's simple and industrial, and it's still really fun because it has a vintage porcelain tile in between the steps. And so here's kind of what the stairs look like, and then I also included more seating under the stairs as this was kind of just an empty space. So I added a swing bench that's normally on a porch because I kind of thought that that'd be fun and weird to kind of incorporate on the inside of the building. And then most of the first floor is to kind of just hang out and relax in between sessions. So I thought adding a couple more seating options and fun little plants would be a lot to add under this space. So as we walk up the stairs onto the second floor, the first thing that clients and staff will be able to see when they get to the top is going to be another conference room. This conference room is enclosed completely with recycled glass all the way around it, and it has a geometric style that runs through the glass. So this is going to be one of the 2 yoga meditation rooms that are included in the building. So on the left side of this picture is where that yoga meditation room is going to be. The west wall that we can see is the closest wall, has the same glass as the conference room, so it can overlook the first floor waiting area atrium. The doors to this are also 8 feet tall sliding wooden doors. I really like those because they can save space in the rooms and they don't have to either intrude on the hallway or intrude into the room. And they're also kind of modern and they give a really cool accent look because they're on sliders, so they can just slide in and out, and they can be kept open or you can close them for more privacy. So right here is going to be kind of a smaller upstairs waiting area lobby. I just wanted to include some more seating because there can never be enough chairs in a space. And it can be kind of where clients or staff want to just kind of take a breather between classes or sessions or whatever they're doing, and so they can kind of just hang out. So here's another perspective of that area that was just highlighted. And so on the right is going to be the yoga room, and then on the left is going to be the massage rooms. And then behind it, kind of to the left, that's where we can see all the way down to the first floor, which I thought was a really cool aspect of this building plan. So this section of the building is going to include the sauna and the men's and women's restrooms. Because this building offers massage therapy, yoga, and a sauna, I really wanted to make sure that I could include showers in both the restrooms so that clients would have the opportunity to rinse off in the building rather than going to the bathrooms in the other buildings that are outside near where the sleeping quarters are. So as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be where the 2 massage rooms are. They're very simple. There's nothing crazy about them. I just wanted to make sure that I could include them in the space because I think it's a really fun and good option that clients would be able to have to include this. So next is going to be the upstairs break room, which is very similar, just a little bit smaller than the break room that is going to be on the first floor. It includes a coffee bar and then a couple love seats and a table for just the staff to kind of hang out and just take a break whenever they're off work. Next is going to be the lecture hall, which is kind of a lecture hall slash multi-purpose room. I wanted to include a large space that would be able to accommodate everyone. The space would be great for guest speakers, announcements, or anything that needs to be held with a maximum amount of people. So there's also a podium, projector, and collapsible chairs and tables that are movable so that it is really a multi-purpose room that can be used for really anything. So here we have the sunroom. This is another room that clients can just kind of go and hang out in peacefully. It's a space that art classes can be held in. I put some easels in there just to show that off. It's surrounded by windows and includes very simple furniture that is modern, boho, just very neutral and doesn't make the space look too overwhelmed. So here we have this whole area is actually on the first floor, and I just wanted to point it out that you would be able to see it from the second floor, and so that's why I have so many chairs around it and the glass walling in the conference room so that you could just kind of see pretty much the whole space really if you wanted to. Here's another perspective of that. So on the right is the conference room. In front on the top, that's going to be the yoga room. And then that is a very large portion of the first floor that is included. So my main points for the space were progressive, rejuvenate, and equanimous. And so here's a couple of the materials that I wanted to incorporate in the whole space. I really wanted it to just be simple, welcoming, and calming because that's the main purpose of this space. And not only is this project to update the outdated health facilities and to help those suffering with mental illnesses, but it also offers activities to sustain and treatments to maintain a well-balanced life physically, mentally, and emotionally. So with these aspects and resources, the Free and Well Holistic Wellness Center is ready to take on mental health in a whole new way. Holistic design is becoming such a fast-growing aspect of design, and this project really incorporates everything that you would want and need to become a more healthier and happier you.